Ever wondered about the intricate dance between strength and vulnerability? In a fascinating conversation with my guest today, Sandy Stream, author of The Courage Circle, we dived into the harmony of embracing both. It's not about choosing one over the other, but understanding how being strong doesn't mean shutting out our softer side. It's a balance that enables us to listen intently to our boundaries and take care of our well being, especially during emotional storms.
There's many people who talk about our masculine and feminine side. They
Mm-hmm.
don't mean gender. It's just, you could see it as yin and yang or masculine, feminine, but they're not talking about gender. And definitely, it's something that I've learned to experience in my body. So it's not about theories. Everything is in the body.
This is Sheila's Take, a podcast where you can hear my take on everything: love, hate, relationships, family, and today's issues with a godly perspective. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Thank you for joining me. Please welcome my special guest, Sandy Stream, to Sheila's Take. Sandy is an accomplished author and activist who firmly believes that every individual possesses the ability to discover inner peace and tap into the warrior-like strength. With a diverse background as a law professor, a devoted parent of two, and one who has confronted and overcome life's most profound adversities, Sandy has dedicated her efforts to facilitating transformative workshops for young and experienced adults alike. Her goal? To inspire and empower individuals to live their lives with both peace and power. In her remarkable book, The Courage of Circle, How to Live in Truth and Dare, Sandy explores a unique dimension of power. It's not the power we typically see depicted on our screens or in the realm of politics. Instead, her book invites readers on a journey towards finding peace within themselves and then channeling that inner peace into courageous action in the world around them. So join me in welcoming Sandy Stream on today's episode of Sheila's Take. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you, Sheila, for having me. I really appreciate to have any opportunity really to speak about the work that I've been doing.
Well, I've been checking you out, and you've been doing some good work.
Oh, I'm trying. I want peace in our world, so I'm
Well,
doing my
don't we
part.
all? Don't
Yeah.
we all, right? Let's just jump right into it.
Sure.
Can you tell us more about your background as a law professor and how that led you to become an author and an activist?
Well, when you say law professor, it's not in a university, but I've been teaching for 20 years, like workshops to business people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been teaching contract law and, drafting contracts for about 20 years. So that's kind of one part of my life, but it wasn't really, my deepest essence, I guess you could say. At the same time, I was always, dabbling in other projects and writing and doing many, many different things,
Mm-hmm.
but never really sharing them very much with the world because I didn't feel the need to. But these past few years during COVID, I really struggled in a much deeper way than usual. I mean, I had had a lot of challenges in life and I was kind of strong and able and,
Mm-hmm.
managing of all kinds of adversities. But these few years were just kind of extra difficult with relationships, with myself, with everything. And I really took, I guess, a lot of time to try to figure out how to live, basically, how to live
Yeah.
and feel okay. Just spent a lot of time. I call it research because that's what I think it is. I don't think our inner world or emotional world or all that is, wishy-washy. I think it's actually factual. So
Mm-hmm.
I researched myself internally and I researched, meaning I was reading and watching and listening and doing a million things. And I kind of put together what I believed were the pieces of my puzzle to feel well, regardless of
Yeah.
whatever's going on around me. And it was many pieces. It was not one thing. It's not like, oh, meditate 10 minutes a day and you're going to feel well. It was not
Right.
that simple. And so, anyways, I put it together as a book, The Courage Circle. And then since February, I felt, well, I mean, these topics are just so important. All these pieces of the puzzle, I'm going to try to talk about it with people. So I started doing facilitating circles at my local yoga studio, and I meet with people every week, online and in person. And every week we have a new topic, and we're discussing these super important topics that unfortunately we do not discuss often in the home or at school or at work. And they're absolutely critical for, I think, for going about life feeling some sense of peace inside and some power in your life, regardless what's going on. So that's what I've been up to now.
That's what you've been up to.
Yep.
That's how your personal experiences with adversities, is that how it in life?
Oh, yeah.
They shape your belief in finding peace and inner strength?
Yeah, I guess I was just suffering so much and I was fed up. I was tired of suffering, and I was trying to find a way of how can I live without, so much inner suffering. And now I don't.
You don't? Wow.
No,
wow.
I don't.
Can you elaborate on the difference between, because you in your book you write something about force and power.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on the difference?
Well, I mean, I got the idea. I quoted it from a book called Power versus Force. So the author probably explains his version easier, but really a lot of times when we think about force, so you think about like kind of pushing against something or, and it needs energy to be able to push. It's not like innately powerful, right? Like if you want to think of the word power, and I'm not talking about how people use this word, in politics and everything else, but in the truest of this word power, you can think of something like the sun, right? The sun has its innate power. So internally, we do have a lot of power, not, like I said, not overpowering or forcing, just, a lot of powers that we're not maybe aware of or realizing that exist within us. And so part of the things we discuss in the circle, different weeks have different topics, but I can give you one example, let's say, of power, if you like. For example, if let's say for the next 2 years, I decide that Sheila and Tom and Jerry are the three people who are going to decide if I'm nice or not, if they approve of me or not, if I'm likable, if I look good, if, three, Sheila and Tom and Jerry, you three are now going to decide that. Well, that is basically giving the power to those three people to make those choices. And instead we can kind of take it back and literally, and I'm not talking about it like theoretically, I mean, actually, literally be the one that has this power inside us in terms of our power of accepting and loving and approving ourselves and all these things. So that's one example of a power that we have. We have other powers. We have the power to choose. We have a lot of different powers that are already there. Unfortunately, we're just not guided well, maybe. And I've had many people guiding me to where I feel okay now.
So you're guiding others,
I guess. And, in the circle, I would say at this point, like I thought at first, okay, I'm going to start this circle. I'm going to kind of guide everyone and facilitate. That's really what I thought would happen. But lo and behold, by just having an environment that is open and respectful and kind, just, and I can share with you how I do that. I guess that part I do kind of set up, but by having that kind of environment between adults, and they come, everybody's different age, gender, nationality, profession, like there's no a uniformity of it other than we're all human beings, which is a big uniformity. So when you create that environment where people can be open and honest, the wisdom that comes out of each person is just like, everybody is learning from each other there. It's not just me kind of, lecturing or anything else. It's the environment that allows people to be honest and respectful and kind. And when you have that environment, it's magical, like how much and how fast we are all learning.
How do you encourage young and experienced adults to live in peace and power?
Well, like I said, we do a different topic every single week.
Every week.
So this, 1 week could be on letting go. Another topic could be victim mentality. Another topic could be what is vulnerability. Another one could be, every week we have a totally different topic and everybody shares, their ideas about it. I think one important thing that happens in the group in terms of the energy of the group is, I kind of give a little demo at the beginning about listening and how to listen. And part of that is not jumping and giving people advice or telling them what to do, right? It's more listening. And I think because of that demo, there's just an environment where we are not going to jump into each other's lives or tell each other what to do or what to feel or what to, or try to control or overtake another person's freedom, basically. And I think by having that approach, it just sends the energy that everybody is responsible for themselves. And when you have a room of people who are sitting there treating each other as each one is, accountable and responsible for their own well-being, where you need to figure out what you need or what you need to do, including asking for help, right? So asking for help is a very powerful, speaking of the word power, that is a very powerful move, actually, to ask for help.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do. A lot of people don't like to do that. It's hard because it feels as if like you're helpless when you're asking for help and people don't like to do that.
Yeah, because we've been taught many things upside down, really. I mean, we talk about all kinds of things like this, but if you really think about it, right? If you ask someone for help, first of all, it means you're not helpless. It means you know how to ask. So you're actually an active human being who is going towards, better things or helping yourself. So it's the opposite of helpless as far as I'm concerned. And plus, for me, it implies that you are starting to believe that you matter in this world, right? So otherwise, why would you go get help? You'll just say, forget it. No, if you're actually getting for help, it's like the first sign of, hey, like, I matter and I'm responsible to do something about it. So for me, it's actually a very powerful move. But if your whole life, everyone is giving you the message of, it's shameful or whatever nonsense, we believe that. And it's just not true.
And that's the society that we live in, that, a lot of times that, if you're asking for help, you're a failure, you're this, you're that. But and that's what makes it hard for a lot of people to ask for help. And then then when it gets to a certain point where they're like, oh my goodness, they have no choice. So, but,
I know. Yeah. And it's, but at some point, I mean, we can start to realize that we don't have to believe what we're told all the time. Like we can really think about it and think if it's actually true or not true, even if everybody is saying one thing or saying something else. Another typical one that people say all the time is they tell you to be nice, how to be nice. And we're taught like our whole life to be nice. You should be nice to this one, nice to grandma, nice to whatever. And we grew up thinking that I'm not nice if I don't do this and this and run around like a crazy person helping every single person, then I'm not nice. Not true. Just not true. Right. No. So we have to kind of reverse a lot of the things that have been taught, because I think, all the controlling and shaming and those kind of things are not serving any of us, actually. So we have to question them.
Can you explain what you mean by being strong and soft at the same time in difficult emotional situations?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's many people who talk about our masculine and feminine side. They don't mean gender. It's just, you could see it as yin and yang or masculine, feminine, but they're not talking about gender. And definitely it's something that I've learned to experience in my body. So it's not about theories. Everything is in the body, just like our emotions and our gut and our heart and all that. So very body centered, but also in our body, we can learn to feel this soft side, which is our front, our heart
Mm-hmm.
can be very, very soft and very, very kind. But then our spine, our back can be actually very, very strong and stable and supportive. Our masculine side, again, nothing to do with gender. So, we can use our dual energies, whether it's for ourselves or for others. And there's been times where, I've needed to kind of look for the support part of me, which says, okay, come on, you got to do, okay, get yourself together now. You got this, whatever. So that would be more, that supportive energy. And the soft one might be compassion, feeling for yourself and kind to yourself and all that. So it's a harmony of the two energies that we can walk around with. Again, just being soft and not having the ability to set boundaries or to be strong. I mean, that for me is not healthy or kind or emotionally mature. It's really important that we have that balance of the two.
I am in. It's funny. I have a lot of things that I've been doing this year with myself personally, and I have decided that I've been in the season of no.
Okay, congratulations.
And it's like I'm not going to do things to please other people. I'm going to do things that's going to make me happy and feel good, because going places and doing things that's not going to benefit. I'm not going to say benefit me, but that's not going to make me happy
and healthy.
I'm just doing it for someone else. It's not, it's not.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. When I think about that, like a lot of times, of course, we're all raised to say yes and yes everywhere. And we're not even in the equation. Like you don't even think of yourself as part of the be kind to. What about be kind to me? Like it's like you don't even exist in that equation. But every time you're saying no to something, in fact, you're saying yes to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if you end up saying yes to another person when, in fact, your body is telling you no, and then you say yes, in a way, you're against yourself, right? And this being against yourself, like, I don't even imagine how that might translate. Like, we should not be against ourselves.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, and how that might translate into all kinds of disease and another thing. So for me, it makes perfect sense to take care of ourselves and listen to ourselves and take care of our boundaries, because at least that's what I found. And maybe that's what you're finding as well. If I feel well, I can actually really be able to spill something into the world other than, So first, yes, we fill our own cup. And then if there's, to spill over something, great. But it makes sense. It's just logical. Yeah. So that took me forever too to start to realize that, because like I said, this training, like you think you're not a nice person. You think, taking care of yourself is selfish.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Not true.
You're feeling guilty because you feel like you're letting someone down if you're not able to do this or do this, and you're spreading yourself too thin. And again, that starts with the anxiety and okay, well, I got to do this and I got to do this, and it's just too much. So definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not a selfish thing. Are there any specific emotional situations or challenges that your book discusses and provides insights on?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was so many pieces of the puzzle for me to feel well, but one was to actually stop demonizing emotions in general. So emotions are in our body. They're natural, they're normal, they're healthy. And, we might be taught like they're bad, but they're not bad. They're actually our inner compass. This is how we feel ourselves. So, if we feel sad, instead of criticizing this or thinking like, oh, I shouldn't feel sad, I should feel grateful, or I should feel whatever. Well, actually, I feel sad. And if we do, maybe we can look at that and see, do we need to cry, maybe to release some sadness, or do we need to, maybe we feel lonely, maybe we need to look for some friendships or some more healthy relationships, or so we can listen to it instead. And for example, if we feel angry, instead of like, oh, I shouldn't feel angry, they were just trying or whatever, well, maybe we can listen to ourselves instead and say, okay, well, why am I really angry here? Like, there's got to be some reason, and we can look for the truth. And the truth might be we're not feeling respected, or our boundaries are being broken, or something like that. unless it's the kind of anger where you're just trying to control people all the time and you get angry because people don't do what you want, that's something else. But
Right.
if it's a healthy type where your boundaries, so that's actually good information for you of how to guide your life, what you need to put limits on that don't work for you or
Right.
whatever else. So stopping to demonize our own emotions, I think, is something that we can maybe all think about. That's not, it's been happening for about 5,000 years. Maybe it's time for us to stop that pattern and realize that our bodies are made to give us information, and it's not, we're not made incorrectly in that way. So we can start to listen instead.
Well, we have to, our bodies will tell us what we can and cannot do,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects or events related to your book or your work as an author or activist?
So I do the circles twice a week. I do podcasts as much as I want, just to as much as I can, just to keep talking about these topics and encouraging people to do whatever they need to do in their inner life to get well, and to encourage that process. And I also started, I guess about 45, 50 days ago or something, after the most recent wars popped out into our world. So I started posting on Telegram every day, little videos to, it gives me peace to do my part in what I feel helps create peace. So I post little videos every day to share whatever I might know that could be helpful to find your own peace, because I do believe ultimately the only way we can have peace in our world is for each person to find their own peace. And that is how we will have peace in our world, not if we settle this country versus that country or whatever. That's not going to create peace in the world. It really is each person's responsibility to find this inside themselves, and then that's what will come out from them, afterwards. So that's my response. Instead of getting frustrated every day seeing what's going on, I'm like, okay, I'll do something, I guess, and that's what I'm doing.
Good. That's a good thing. That's therapy right there, though. That's yeah. So what are you grateful for?
Am I grateful? I don't really differentiate of things that I'm grateful, not grateful, because even looking back on, very difficult times, it's not that I'm grateful. I had so many difficult times, but of course we can see how, difficult events could even teach us all the time, and we can grow from, so many events. So, but on the lighter side of grateful, like I'm definitely grateful that I've met people now, which I didn't always have, that are actually very open and willing to share intimately in the circle without judgment. So I think that was really something that, is such a basic human need, to connect like at a deep, honest level. And I think many people don't have any of that, because as soon as you share honestly, you get just this weird response and judgment and bad feedback of all kinds. So to be able to share with other adults honestly this way and have that level of respect and kindness, for me, it's very special. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah.
How can my listeners, you have a website, right? Can you tell my listeners what your website is, and where they can get your book? And if they want to contact you, just if you can give them that information.
Yeah, sure. So my website is thecouragecircle.com, and there's links to my book, or if you want to join the meetup or the circles, you're welcome to join there. And the Telegram channel that I started is also called The Courage Circle. So if you want to pop in there as well.
Okay. Well, I thank you, Sandy, for being a guest today on Sheila's Take, and I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, Sheila, and I think you're doing wonderful things with your work. I really wish you good luck and continued success in all your projects.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Take care, Sheila.
Join me next time where I will continue to discuss more of today's issues. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.